so I guess that's good.
I think it's very good. Wait, how's my collar?
You're good.
Okay.
How's my collar? How's my teeth?
Oh, your teeth are adorable.
Yours too. Adorable teeth. Never
Wait,
heard that before.
wait.
Volume
Here we go.
eyes.
Oh, hang on.
The haircut. The hair view. Okay. Okay. Oh, yeah.
Yep, so you're live. Can you
We're
see
live
it?
now?
You're live now.
Dylan Moscovitch. That's
PJ
right.
Kwong.
He hit me.
Matching me.
I know. Guess what? At Skating PJ here with Dylan.Moscovitch on Instagram and just at Dylan Moscovitch on the Twitter.
On the Twitter.
On the Twitter. We are so excited to be here. We are backstage at the Skate Ontario Sectional Championships, otherwise known as hashtag Sectionals, SO18. Be there or be square, right? That's a square. Dylan, I wanted to talk to you because there are so many viewers out there who don't know necessarily what a Sectionals Championship is. So I want to talk to you about one of your earliest memories about Sectionals. Dylan skated both in pairs, Olympic silver medalist by the way, and as a single skater.
I also did some dance back in the day.
Did you really? With
I
whom?
did. Well, the Lanes were my coaches for a while.
Carol Lane and John Lane, coaches of Piper and Paul.
I did some ice dance with the older of my two sisters, Natasha. She was taller than me. It was great.
Is she still?
No. No, I finally caught up.
Thank goodness.
Yes.
What was your favorite dance?
I don't know.
Make sure you join us on the Skate Ontario Facebook page for questions and comments. Okay, back to your first
So,
memory. Did you go to
earliest section.
sectionals as a dancer?
I can't remember, but I do remember my first sectionals. It was in the 90s. I believe it was 1996.
Okay.
Or even 95, and it was in Scarborough Ice Galaxy.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
I
Okay.
came third.
We're going to get our technical staff to help us figure out where this post is so I can find the questions.
Okay.
Kelsey, would you help? Kelsey's here.
Okay,
Thank goodness.
Kelsey's going to help you.
All right. So, you were at the Scarborough Ice Galaxy. I
Yeah.
may have announced that sectionals, to tell you the truth, in both rinks.
It's quite possible. Yeah.
And was that as a single skater?
Single skater, yes.
Novice, junior,
Juvenile.
juvenile? Oh my goodness. That
I've
goes
been
way
skating
back.
for like 500 years.
Yes, he has.
Yes, I have.
What is special about the sectional championships?
So sectionals is when you're young. It feels a lot like your Olympics.
Yeah, it would.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
And you know, it's the main gateway into the big show, into nationals. And you know, you go through sectionals and you go through challenge. And back in the day, it was divisionals. But essentially, it's your step one towards qualifying for the real big stuff. The nationals. It's your first real qualifying event as a skater.
So tell me, I mean, so many skaters are there with, so many skaters are you know, here from their club, but once they get through sectionals and they're qualifying for the challenge championships, do you remember getting your first jacket?
Oh yeah.
Tell me what that was
I
like.
wanted to wear it like to bed. I was so excited. It's like all I wanted was that jacket. You know, it's like a membership card.
And
your first team jacket is a pretty special thing.
so did you wear it when you weren't at an event as well?
Oh, of course. Of course. The next day I was at the rink. I think I even went a day early just to wear the jacket on. Yes. I was that excited.
So being part of a team, I mean, figure skating is thought of, except when we're talking about synchro, but figure skating is thought of as a individual sport.
Mm-hmm.
So being part of sort of a fraternity, what is that like?
Oh, it's the best. You get to travel. At the time it was Central Ontario. We had our team jackets. We traveled to, at the time, divisionals, which is now challenge, and we all stayed at the hotel together. You have roommates, and it's such a great experience. Your first time really, you know, doing something like that as a team, as part of you're representing something, not just you or your club, but you're representing a region where you skate. It's pretty, I don't know, it's pretty special.
So here we've got lots of young people competing in all disciplines, you know, singles, ice dance, and pairs. What is the preparation like coming into a sectionals championship? Can you give me sort of like the last week of training before sectionals?
Well, everyone's got their own kind of take on things. Every coach has a different method, and that method might vary from student to student as well. So there isn't any one right way to prepare. But really, you want to go into a competition feeling ready. And I think that's the most important thing, is that you can go out there and enjoy yourself and focus on the artistry and focus on the skating and the presentation and the quality of what you're doing, instead of feeling like you're not ready and you're scrambling and you're, you know, cramming for an exam type of feeling, which as an athlete doesn't really work. So that being said, I think the most important thing that any athlete is going to try and do before a sectionals competition is to make sure they put their work in, and that, you know, they can go out there and feel like they didn't leave any stone unturned.
So speaking about stones unturned, I want to find out a little bit about the successes as an athlete and the defeats as an athlete, what they do for your life lessons, how they actually help you prepare for life later on. So let's talk first about competition mistakes. What have you learned from your not best competitions, and what can the skaters take away from maybe a disappointment this weekend?
Well, in the middle of experiencing it and right after, it's a terrible, terrible feeling. It sucks. But it's essential, I think, for growth as a human being, for growth as an athlete. And, you know, you kind of get what you need in that moment, and if you didn't really learn your lesson, you'll get another chance to learn it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Figure skating is a very unforgiving sport, and what's required of us is not only to try and execute all these difficult things, but to show a lot of humility and grace through these mistakes and these defeats, and learning to put a smile on your face and the show must go on. And it's, I mean, it's exactly how life is. It's just condensed under a microscope into a couple of minutes, that you're going to be facing a lot of very difficult challenges where your resilience and your patience and your optimism are tested. And you know, it never stops. Even at the Olympic level, you might watch people on TV and be like, wow, that looked so good. They may come off the ice and be disappointed because they didn't feel they skated the best they could. And it's not about trying to avoid having any mistakes. It's about learning it's about learning to move past it all and be the best version of yourself, I think, as an athlete and as a person, despite things not going exactly the way you plan.
So if you want to, I first of all want to say hi to Lori Guado. Can you say hi to Lori? Just say
hi. Lori.
Hi, Lori. Oh, I was looking in the wrong place, as usual. Who's the professional?
Who's the rookie?
I want you to look right in there, and I want you to talk to a skater who maybe has had a disappointing sectionals. In that moment, what do they need to do to be able to push through and move on to a successful free program?
Well, it's one skate. In the grand scheme of your life, it is almost nothing. At the end of the day, it feels like it's everything, but it's just another chance for you to do a run-through. And how you rebound and move on to the long program is the most important thing for you moving forward as an athlete and as a person. And, the lessons you learn in these levels are the ones that are going to pay off in the higher levels. So I think having the mindset that you're here to build a strong mental base, and you're here to build a strong, resilient athlete within yourself, you'll never come away with a loss. It will always be a win, because you're developing something that's far more important than just winning sectionals.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's developing yourself as an athlete long term.
So let's move to something happier. And when we were walking to come down here into this, we're kind of in the witness protection program here, let's face it. We got the branding, but shh, no one knows where
no one knows we're here. This is like a top secret bunker.
It is. Like
I don't even think Trudeau knows where we are.
No, probably not. But is he looking for us? That's the other question.
Well, let's not think about that, because he could be.
Could be, indeed. So we walked by the podium. And on the way here, and there were some young women who were standing on top of the podium with medals, bronze, silver, and gold. What does that moment feel like, and what do you learn from success in figure skating?
Well, that's a pretty incredible moment, that you get to experience a direct feedback, a direct reward for your hard work, and not only your hard work in preparation, but you stepped up in the moment, and that, I think, is the other half of the battle. You know, just because you're prepared doesn't mean it's going to happen. And you know, you rose to the occasion. I think that's incredible, and to be able to reap the benefits and to feel that physical, tangible success that you get to wear it is something special, and it's something you'll keep for the rest of your life, I'm sure. And hopefully you trained properly for it, and you are aware of the right things you did to get to that point, and you are able to look at the things that you could have done even better, and you put the two together, and you become a better athlete from it.
Do you find once you get to the challenge event, so this year it's going to be in Edmonton, Alberta,
Dress warmly.
Dress warmly. That's a good question. By the way, keep those questions coming. We can say hi right now to Kim Stickle. Hey, Kim.
Hey, Kim. How are you?
Thanks for joining us, and thanks for not being so quiet, giving us the thumbs up. Questions, keep them coming. So I want to know, people are headed to the challenge. What does that feel like? Does that feel like I'm here, I've made it, or does that feel like, uh-oh, I've got another competition, another mountain to climb?
Both.
Okay.
I think both can happen in the same person, and it's also going to be varying degrees of combinations of the two for different skaters. And you know, for some skaters, it's going to be their next stepping stone on their way to nationals, and it's just part of their plan. For other skaters, it's going to be a dream come true. It's a huge milestone and a new step in their career. Some might not feel ready. Some might be breathing a sigh of relief that they now have another chance to prep for it. You know, it's another step along the way, and the way I always think about any competition is you want to approach it with the most professionalism and class that you can. So preparing yourself to give yourself the best opportunity to be at your best and to enjoy the moment and then take whatever comes afterwards is super important. And enjoying it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's over pretty quick. Your whole career is over pretty quick. So the more moments you enjoy, the better the memories will be, and the better experiences you will have, and the better person you'll be at the end of it too.
I want to know, and probably you guys do too, give me one of your favorite performances that you did.
Ever.
Ever. Can be singles, can be pairs, can be ice dance. But it probably wouldn't be.
It won't be ice dance. I can promise you, no offense to the ice dancers.
I
stopped pretty early. I mean, like, Willow Waltz is only so fun so many times, right?
That's true.
I would say my favorite, one of my absolute favorite performances was 2013 World Championships, the short and the free. It was in London, Ontario. I had such a huge group of people there supporting me. Kirsten, my partner at the time, and I skated two of our best programs of our careers, and the building was electric. And I think the energy, the feeling of accomplishment, we had a bit of a rough start to our season. We really rallied and pulled it together and worked very hard and really stepped it up. We didn't even make it to Worlds the year before, and we ended up fourth that year, narrowly missing the medal. So just being able to compete at World Championships in my home country, my home province, was incredible.
That is wonderful. Nora Hollins, we all know Nora. Hi, Nora.
Hey, Nora.
And also, Janine Margaret, look at me being able to read from a distance at my advanced age and stage. Seriously.
You know, I'm proud. Janine sent a heart, so we'll send one back.
Oh, heart back to Janine. Thank you very much. Beats words every day, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that fear is something that people can harness here at Sectional Championships?
Absolutely.
Tell me how.
I believe that every emotion is something you can harness, and the long-term goal is to be able to take whatever you are feeling in that moment and use it as fuel. It takes practice, but I believe training your mind should be the same as training your body. It's a muscle. It behaves in a habitual way. So the more you practice your mind one way, the more it's going to come out that way, whether you like it or not, under pressure. So using that fear is definitely possible, and part of it is being aware of what's happening. And if you feel nervous before you compete, taking a moment to remind yourself that that's completely normal. Every single athlete, no matter what level, no matter how much experience, feels a certain level of nervousness before they compete, and that's just their body and their mind getting ready for what they're about to do. You know, competing is like practicing, but it's also not. It is a little more special. And in our sport, you wear a special outfit.